Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. My name's Teresa and I'm the Carbootcrafter, and I'm coming on with this super cute little project for you today. It's a tiny little treat bag that looks like a handbag, or if you're an American, a little purse. So you open it up at the front like that, and inside you have room for some little sweeties or a little treat. You could possibly get a little Ferrero Rocher in there, and it's a great way to use up your 6x6 paper stash if, like me, you've got lots of half empty 6x6 paper pads that you just need to use up and get rid. So for this project, considering Easter's just round the corner, I'm using the Time for Spring paper pad, and it's this one here, that lovely green paper that I'm using for this one. So you'll pop your 6x6 paper, and use paper rather than card, because it gets a little bit too bulky if you use anything that's kind of card weight. So pop your paper into your scoreboard, and you're going to score on one side. You're going to score at 2 1/4 and at 3 3/4. So just score backwards and forwards on there. Then you're going to rotate to the next side and on this side you're going to score at 1 3/4 like that, and at 4 1/4, so like that. So you got all your scores, 2 going one way, 2 going the other. Very, very simple. Let me pop that away, out of the way. Where is out of the way? There's so much stuff in here. So once you've got to that point, I'm going to flip it over because I've already drawn in the lines which are my score marks. So this is where I've just scored. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut down here and wedge out a piece. And I've put that in just so as you can see. Now what you're looking for is, so this is a narrow piece there. So it's these longer pieces that you are looking to wedge out. So we cut down. Actually, let me grab my ruler and I can tell you that that is, so this side is the 1 3/4 and the 4 1/4 side. So this is the side you want to be cutting down. So wedge that out, and that can be as big or as deep as you want. So we don't need that. Come across to this side. You're not cutting into this middle piece, it's the wedges. You're going to cut the wedges on these tabs at the side. So cut down and wedge out like that, then rotate it and do on the other side, so you've got those opposite sides being cut into. Okay, there's another one onto the last one now, and this just takes some of the bulk out for your handbag because it's such a tiny little project. If we didn't wedge in out these bits, then it would get really bulky. So I'm just going to grab my bone folder and I'm going to fold these over like this. So make sure that your edges all line up beautifully and reinforce those score lines. And then we're going to turn it and do the other side as well. What I'm doing is I'm making sure that this line lines up so that's nice and straight. That really helps us later on when we're folding our handbag up. And that side, and then the bit in the middle like that, and that just makes it nice and even for us. And then lastly, just fold those bits in the middle very quickly like that. And if you've scored them really well, they'll go with no problem. All we're going to do now is bring that up and make it into a little box like that. So I'm going to grab my glue and I'm going to put some glue on this panel. And I'm going to bring it up, and what I want to do is line these two edges up, so the top edges, so we get a nice straight side on my box. So lining them up, let's fold that back so you can see, lining them up so that they're nice and straight on that top edge like that. Okay, and then I'm going to flip it round and do exactly the same on this side. So a little bit of glue on the one panel and line those two edges up so they're nice and straight, and this gives us really straight lines on these edges as well. There we go. And once we've done that, what we want to do now is glue these sides up. So I'm going to start with this side because this is the one I did first. I'm just going to put some glue all around the edges. I put it on this side because if I was to go right down here, then the glue has got nothing to stick to and would gunge up all the inside of my handbag. So I'm going to bring that up like that, line it up, and then I'm going to use my bone folder. I'm just going to get it in there just so as I can make sure that that glue's got good contact all the way along there. Okay, I'm going to give that a minute to dry while I'm doing this side, and exactly the same over here. Don't have to worry about doing tons, it's only going to hold it. Because we've got another stage to do in 1 second. So wash that down and then get my bone folder in there. Okay, now once you're at this stage, you want to get your scissors, and you're going to cut a tiny, on the inside of these, on all 4 corners, you're going to cut a tiny amount, just a little slither like that. As you can see, that is a tiny piece. Okay, actually you can probably see it against the blue better. So it's just a tiny piece, and you're going to do that on all 4 corners. This is just going to help us in the next part of putting this little handbag together. So all of those corners, and we can get rid of that. We still need our glue, so we're going to leave that there. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to fold these pieces over and fold them in. So we want to go on the same height as the those pieces there that we've got. We want to fold it over into that. So just very carefully using your fingertips, and it should go fairly easy because you've got a good couple of layers behind that, so they fold quite easy. And then I'm using my bone folder to keep that crease, but I'm going to open it up again, and this time I'm going to put a line of glue on here like that, and on here like that, and then fold it back over. And again I'm going to use my bone folder to push that glue into the paper. So, and it also reinforces a nice crisp score line along there. Fold that and do exactly the same on that side. Right, and then pop that to one side and let it dry for a few minutes. Okay, so the next part of the handbag, you're going to need a nice fancy shape that is narrower, you can see how much narrower than the handbag, and it's going to go across the handbag and form this piece. Okay, so it's this piece that we're doing now. Let me bring it past. And the reason why it has to be narrower is because we've got our handbag straps there on either side. So you'll need a piece. And I've used, let me show you the die I've used. I've used the die from the Lavish Label, it's a mouthful, I can't, Lavish Label Layers stamp set, which I picked up at a car boot, but I think it might have been in a magazine or something. As you can see, it's for bottle labels and things like that, and it came with a set of stamps as well. But you can use any fancy die, or even if you wanted to, you could just cut out a rectangle and use the rectangle instead. Let me give you the measurements on this. So this is 1 5/8 across, and it is point to point 2 3/4. So if you wanted and you didn't have a small little label die or punch or whatever, then you can just cut a rectangle and corner around those edges. Okay, so I'm using that. I've also got 2 pieces of the same paper that is 1/4 inch wide by 6 inches in length. And what I'm doing with both of those, I've already done that one, is I'm going to grab my bone folder and I'm just going to do that, because these are going to be the handbag straps, and just curling them like that just helps a little bit with getting the handbag, the straps onto the handbag. Bringing my scoreboard back in, because what I want to do is crease the middle of my label. So I'm just going to line up, let me just pop that in there. Haven't got round to putting any permanent marker on here yet. Actually, I'm going to flip it over the other side and lining up the middle of my die. Oh, it's so thick that sometimes you just jump out of the channel. So I've just scored that in half very carefully, so I've just got that so it can hook over my handbag. So I'll pop that back in and move that out of the way. And now that my handbag has started to dry, I can still feel it's a little bit wet, but what I want to do is hold it between my 2 fingers, and I'm going to use my index finger to push those sides in. And as I'm pushing in with this finger, I'm pinching with these 2 on both sides as well. So the movement is that you're pinching with those 2 as you push in with those 2. And that way we get that nice even little fold in the middle. What you want to do is line up these 2 points on this side and these 2 points on this side, so you get a nice even pinch in the middle there. Okay, and then just do that a couple of times and it'll pinch quite nicely and keep that, keep that shape. Okay, so what we want to do now is I'm going to put some glue on this piece. Decide which is your back and your front. I think that's my front. It just looks slightly smarter. So I'm going to put some glue on here. Don't go all the way up to the crease. Stay about 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, something like that, away from the crease, because you're going to give your handbag a little bit of room to maneuver. Pinch it together and then just simply hook that over like that. Make sure it's nice and even, which is why I use wet glue rather than tape, because sometimes you do have to just adjust it ever so slightly. And I'm just going to hold that for a few minutes while it takes. Right, okay, and I'm going to leave that to dry a second. So I've got these two and I've curled them. So the next stage is to glue these in place. And what if I bend this back, hopefully without moving it too much? What you're going to do is you're going to glue it inside on that corner, and the other side on that corner. Now I'm hoping that my glue will hold on this tape. So I've got a sneaking suspicion it might not, so I might use some double-sided tape on this actually. Right, I'm just going to use a tiny little bit. If you're using regular card, then do I would use what would I use? I would use glue, which is indeed what I used on this little one. But because this is this sparkly paper, I'm not 100% certain that glue is going to hold it. So I'm just going to use this double-sided tape instead. And I'm hoping that this will hold. Never thought about that until now. Why is it always the same? So I'm just taking the carrier tape off. I don't know where that went. Feels like it's still in my hand, but I can't see it. So there's the other one. That's gone as well. That's very strange. So I'm just going to, there it is. How's it ended up on that side? Very odd. This stuff is so anyway, I'm just going to slide that in to that corner there, and once I'm happy, I'm just going to push that in like that. Then I'm going to bring this one and I'm going to do it exactly the same on this side. So I'm just pushing it down and getting that to pinch in. So because I'm using double sided, I'm going to use my bone folder just to make sure it's got full contact with the paper. So there's the one. I'm going to do exactly the same with this one. Because this has got such a curl, I've just straightened those ends just to make sure that that they're not too curly for when I try and stick them down. Because if they were very curly on the ends, then I might have a problem with getting them to what I will do actually is I will get a piece of this paper card, glittery cardstock, and I'm going to put some glue on it, and I'm going to try and see how it gets on if I glue it this side down onto something. And if it works okay, then the next ones that I make I will use glue, but I'm just going to do it on this one for demonstration purposes because the camera's rolling and and I don't want to be sat here faffing waiting for glue to dry that isn't going to hold. Okay, and this one goes in exactly the same place but on the back. So I'm just going to pop that in, go a little bit further down and pinch that shut. Get my bone folder in there, make sure we got full contact with that red liner tape. Bring this one over. And while I'm doing that, I'm also checking that the clasp bit will go through, because what you don't want to do is to make it and then you can't close it. So I'm going to twist that, get it to make contact there. Those are about the same height on the handbag handles. bring that together. Oh no, that needs to go over ever so slightly. See, this is the thing about your wet glue. You've got a little bit of time to manoeuvre, not so much with the double-sided tape. Let's see. Oh, it has come off. Right, I hadn't got it quite into that corner. So there we go. You need to get it right into that corner, otherwise it gets in the way of the this little clasp piece. So there we go. Bring that over. And the next thing now is to use some Velcros. Now this is, I picked this up for about 50p at a car boot sale, and there's absolutely loads in there, but they are quite big. If I just show you, that's the size of them, which is far too big for a tiny little handbag like this. So what I'd done with this one is I'd cut it in half and used it on here, but I think it's still too strong. I have to be very careful and not push it too tight, because otherwise I then have a little bit of a problem opening and closing it. So I'm thinking I might cut it down even more, because it is only a tiny little handbag. So I'm thinking, oh, there we go, in half. So I'm thinking that should be enough to keep my handbag closed. So I'm just going to peel it off that carrier. I do apologise, my neighbours are being very noisy all of a sudden. I don't know what they're up to, but they are being very, very noisy. Right, so I'm going to use that, and I'm going to pop it onto this piece first, because I want to make sure I get it in the right place. If I pop it on this side and I'm completely off, then it might end up hanging off the ends of here or not far enough on. So I'm now going to, now this is the trickiest bit, is because this carrier is not so easy to, oh, I say that and then it just comes off in my hands. So I'm going to pinch it shut, fold that over and pinch that down. Red liner tape everywhere. Pinch that down like that. Isn't that cute? I really like the colours actually. Green is one of my favourite colours, but I think it looks really cute. So I can now open it very carefully, and what I want to do is now pinch it between my fingers to make sure that this has full contact, both sides, has really good contact to the paper or that card, and then I can close it over again. And then you can decorate it, oops, pinch that a bit better, then you can decorate it whichever way you like. I've no idea where this came from. It might have been in Happy Mail or a card, or I might have picked it up from, you know, anywhere. But in here I have a few gorgeous little flowers. Now these are silver, but it's the same papers as my handbag. So I'm thinking I'm going to use one of these on my handbag. I'm thinking the big ones are going to be too big, although that's not too bad, is it actually? I could use one of the little ones. What do you think? I think that looks cuter because it's dinky, but that one kind of is a statement, isn't it? I am going to go with the little one. I think I'm going to go with the little one instead, because I think it is so cute. So I am going to use a bit of glue and hope for the best, and if it doesn't work then I can always come back and re-glue it with something. And if this works, then I might just use glue on this paper for other things. So there is my tiny, tiny little handbag. And I think they're so cute. I do like this one. This one was my prototype, so it's okay, but I probably won't use this. But I really think this one is so, so cute. And I think part of it is because I love the colours, I love the glitter, but it just kind of comes together so much cuter. I really like it. And yeah, and what I might do is use these ones for giveaways and gifts, and keep this one on my shelf as a prototype, just a reminder of how to do it. So there you go. I really hope you like them. I think they're so cute. Give them a go, let me know, and yeah, I will see you in the next video while I go and make some more. Bye for now.